Gang Hang, welcome. It has been a little while. We apologize. There was sickness. There was internet problems. But we're back. We're gang hanging. And it is a hell of a week to gang hang because we got a Fantastic Four trailer and it blew everybody's pants off. Like, clear off.
Yeah. Yes, chef.
I was butt naked afterwards because my pants were blown off. I think the Fantastic Four trailer looks... This is not like a revolutionary take, but I think it looks pretty great, and it had to look pretty great, or Marvel was going to have to just pack up. Like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how multi-billion-dollar corporate machines work.
They
I don't
do it all the time. Kidding me?
It's not really a sign of them
just wait.
Learning any lessons.
Just watch for OpenAI in the next month here. So,
boy, finally,
the trailer looked fine,
Disney,
but
you know what I mean? Good for them.
Yeah, the trailer looked fine, but I mean, here's the thing. No, really, there he is.
Yeah, the thing. That's look. Don't let's be real.
Oh wait. Do we have a rim shot soundboard effect?
The hardest part of a Fantastic Four film is the thing. Just ask Roger Corman, right? But
oh shit, we do.
You've got to nail the thing. It's too late, Joe. You've got to nail the thing. And they did. And they did. They absolutely nailed it. He looks fantastic, and I
love it.
Brian, you had posted like, that doesn't sound like my thing. And for a moment I was like, yeah, I'm so used to the bad Saturday morning cartoon. Well, I don't know, Reed. You know, like
the stereotypical
gorilla
like the
sounded
highly over-exaggerated accent. Yeah.
As someone who lives in Brooklyn and worked with various Italian contractors, ain't nobody really sound exactly like the Thing, okay?
Right.
So I mean,
I am a East Coast Massachusetts person, so I can't argue that. But he sounded like the Yancey Street Boys for 60 years, and then now he's like, hey guys, what's going on? And it's kind of there's no pepper on it. He doesn't give it a growl.
There's no pepper.
There's nothing. It's just the guy from it's Cousin, and it's like, all right. I mean, even Cousin had more of an accent. It's the guy. Yeah, it's the guy from Girls. I'm like, okay,
the thing, the real litmus test is when he gets into a fight scene, and then we're going to see him get real Brooklyn, and then we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when it's clobbering time.
I don't have a problem with that.
I will say that, like, the more that I listen to it, the more I'm like, I can hear it in there.
Yeah,
I mean, and also like this Ben Grimm, this is like, these are not the scrappy like, hey, I stole a rocket and I'm gonna bring my girlfriend and her brother. These people are like accomplished, right?
They're
like,
okay. Here's the other thing. So if you want to do the thing and with the accent and stuff, I'm fine with it. But like Damon was just saying, like, look, man, the Brooklyn really doesn't come out of you until somebody cuts you off in traffic or gives you a shove. You know, like oh, now it's on. Oh, now we're doing.
I'm walking here.
Now it's clobbering time.
I wouldn't expect John Glenn, even if he was from Brooklyn, to sound like he's about to get into a street fight.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been in the military and in NASA for X amount of years,
right?
Being professional.
But I do agree with Brian though that at the very least I kind of expected the voice to be a little bit
rough. I think that's what we all want.
More gravelly.
Yeah, sure, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah. But speaking of gravelly, I did like the sounds when he clapped his hands and
John Tverdick pointed that out. He's like the Foley work on that.
It was great. They're like slapping rocks together like on a microphone or something. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. And I think it's a fun trailer. It is just a tease. So I want to address this thing that Matt pointed out to me when we recorded the episode this week. Apparently people are complaining on the internet about the size of Galactus, about how he's not big enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if you people know how big Galactus is. Like when he shows up, in New York, it's not like he towers over skyscrapers.
No. Well, I mean, he can.
He's like maybe Giant Man tall.
But he can if he wants to do that too. Like Dan Slott.
Well, sure, because he's a fucking energy construct.
Yeah. Dan Slott came out and talked about it, and we just like
entire equipment that he uses to break down things. So he can
right. He doesn't show up and eat a planet like an apple.
I understand the complaint, because there's that feeling of like he's a planet devourer, and then it's like, oh, he's just like a tall dude. It's like, what?
Well,
like,
yeah, but then Matt said that do these people think that he's going to grab the Earth in his hand and eat it like an apple?
Right.
They did that on the Tick, and it was exactly what I imagined. Where the Tick in the golf cart riding around.
The Tick's whole job was like to get the space barnacles off the dude's back.
Yeah, that's what I imagine he looks like.
Yeah.
And then he's like a kind of a tall guy in like little pants.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
But also in that same trailer, when they show his shadow looming over, it's like really big. The shadow looming over.
He's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
so it's just like
he can be as big or as he's a god. He can be really big. He can be smaller if he wants to have an audience with a few people. It doesn't make sense for him to show up the size of a celestial and then try and have a conversation with Reed Richards. Like, you know, like he would shrink down a little bit.
Even celestials are not so big that they cannot. Like,
yeah, they walk on planets. Like
they
literally.
walk.
Sometimes.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, sometimes
they exist in physical space.
Well, sure, but there's other times where celestials are drawn like, oh my god, look, he's as large as the galaxy in this scene, and then they shrink to have an audience, and grow. They're gods. They do this.
Yeah.
They're as big as they need to be.
We forgot to turn our cameras on there, Bomber.
I'm not turning mine on because it upset. I wouldn't turn yours on either because it upsets your audio. So in here,
yeah, but I got way faster internet now.
I would just play it safe.
Yeah, that's right. You get the upgrade, baby.
I did. I'm rocking that 2 gigs.
Okay, back to Fantastic
speed.
Four. Man, there's so much that I am excited about this, and I'm not trying to poo-poo anything, but we got a final Brave New World trailer as well. And it's like, here's your final surprise before we all go see Captain America. Eternals pooped out adamantium. And we're like, what? Eternals pooped out adamantium? Like, what?
Well,
that was leaked.
No, remember, Cersei turned it into adamantium.
Oh, she did?
Yes. So... I've thought about that, and it dawned on me later. It's like, it's not that the Celestial was made out of adamantium, that the Celestials brought adamantium to Earth. Is that Cersei transmogrified the Celestial into adamantium.
And you know something? This has been rumored for a very long time at this point.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Yeah, that was in the initial script leak. I mean, that's always been at the heart of the plot. I mean, from like when...
Well, we knew something.
Red Hulk was confirmed.
Yeah, something with adamantium.
I see. I didn't know. I don't remember that at all.
There was mention of adamantium. We didn't know how we're going to get it, and now they're saying we're going to mine it because I thought the Eternal was just made of it, but I'll buy that. Okay, Cersei did something to it.
She transformed it. Yeah,
and so now you have like a Wakanda
to
type
keep it
thing.
from cracking the Earth in half.
Right. So now you have like a Wakanda type thing where Wakanda is the only place where you can mine vibranium, and up near the Arctic Circle, that's where all the adamantium is. But must be a shitload of it because that guy's pretty big.
Yeah, he's right.
Well, it's like half of his head and part of his hand. So,
and it creates an arms race too, because that's always been the threat of Wakanda was that they had vibranium and no one else didn't. So anyone who can find something that can compete with vibranium is going to want to. And
I do think that it makes like a neat arms race story now where they're like, they can be like, screw you, vibranium. This is the new stuff, right? And there's like we're all going to rush and try and get adamantium. And maybe you can do something with Armor Wars with this too, where this changes the nature of like.
Bad news about that.
How we think about.
Yeah, but there's a lot of news there, Matt.
Oh, did they shoot it in the head? Is it gone?
I think it's dead. Yeah, it seems that way.
They essentially, somebody involved somewhere in the process was like, it's not officially dead, but I don't think they have any plans to make it anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they're taking stuff off the schedule, but too bad, because I think this could have led into something like that, where we change the way we think of a character like Iron Man. What do you do when you had the biggest, baddest iron suit, and then like this new metal came out, and oh shit, you've got like a Crimson Dynamo who's made of adamantium, right? Like, oh man, what am I supposed to do against that? I don't think it's the fast pass for the X-Men, though. A lot of dumbasses out there like, Wolverine, here it comes. Like,
no, it's just, like adamantium is in a lot of things, and adamantium predates Wolverine.
Right.
Like adamantium was introduced in like when the Avengers title was still in the double digits.
Right.
In the 60s. So it's just another comic book element to introduce.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, it's best known for Wolverine's claws, but
And Bullseye's spine.
If Kelsey Grammer,
Bullseye's
spine.
Yeah.
But if Kelsey Grammer's like appearance in the end of the Marvels movie,
fibers, skin, right,
is not your
fingernail.
fast pass to the X-Men, then this is absolutely not your fast pass to the X-Men. Sorry, guys, settle down.
No,
right. If an actual X-Man showing up didn't really move the needle,
we just wrote that off.
Yeah.
We're just like, oh, never mind.
Fantastic Four and Secret Wars are our fast pass to the X-Men, and it's also our fast pass to shaking the Etch-a-Sketch from our legacy characters from the first 5 phases.
Yes, I agree.
Soft reboot's coming, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
it's coming.
The more I think about it, well, God, you know what? I don't know. I just talked myself out of it before I even finished that one sentence.
Good for you, Jeff.
Because I have said in the past that I don't think that Marvel will allow a cinematic universe where Captain America is not Steve Rogers.
Brian, do you want to tell him?
Or Tony Stark is not Iron Man in the long term.
Brian, do you want to tell him, or should I?
And that, no. I mean, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, I was trying to talk myself out of a complete reboot and just like doing the legacy characters. But I think that at a certain point, they are going to do what Brian has said in the past
100%.
and what JD is saying now, and that we are going to get a new version of this reality where we can make way for a recasting of some of these roles.
We're on the third Spider-Man in 25 years, I mean,
exactly.
For 6 or 7 years.
How many Batmans did we have in the same franchise?
They're going to, I mean, at some point, Marvel's going to have the same problem that DC has of like, wait, what is this? Who is this guy? Like, I thought, of the people who were, because it's also going to be over the next 15 years, Armor Wars is going to star Don Cheadle, who is going to be 61 this year.
No, I think that's why Armor Wars is done. And I propose a nerd bet that Reed Richards is going to meet Steve Rogers, and it's not going to be played by Chris Evans.
In this movie? In the Fantastic Four movie?
Not
in this movie?
No, not in the Fantastic Four movie, but in the MCU.
In the MCU.
Pedro Pascal will meet a Captain America that is neither Anthony Mackie nor Chris Evans.
Or at least a Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers.
Maybe he meets a Steve Rogers and who's not a Captain America or something yet. And that's our clue,
Well, no, I'm not saying in the Fantastic Four movie. I'm just saying in the MCU at some point.
I think that the only logical thing to believe if there's going to be a reboot, it's going to be at the end of the 6th Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's going to be at the end of Secret Wars.
Secret Wars.
I don't know. That's not that far away.
No, it's not that far away. No, 2026.
Yeah, they're going to recast all of their main leads with Robert Downey Jr. in one of them in 3 years. Like, no way.
No,
like they're gonna do these big movies and try to rake in a couple $2 billion and then post for another until 2030 if we still have movies then. It's this isn't happening. Yeah, we're not getting a new Captain America in
if we're all still
around.
I'm projecting that it's going to be after Secret Wars that we see new versions of Steve Rogers and Tony Stark. I think Secret Wars is going to be populated by the remaining MCU.
Secret Wars is going to be a goodbye.
Yeah, it's going to be a goodbye. We're going to see Steve Rogers. Yeah, Chris Evans is going to come back as Steve Rogers as Nomad in some multiversal capacity because he's already hinted at that. We're going to have Anthony Mackie as Captain America all the way up through that.
I mean, I would bet money that all of the original Avengers are back for the end.
All of them will come back in some capacity. We'll see a glimpse of the Young Avengers for like a 5-minute segment similar to the A-Force in Endgame.
Yeah, where they'll be like, remember when we almost did
and
that?
that's the extent that we're going to see it.
And then that will be all we get of the Young Avengers, because they're going to reboot and all the originals will be back.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep, and the other reason why we can't have the Young Avengers is because by that point, Haley Steinfeld is going to be close to 30.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony Mackie himself is pushing 40. So
yeah.
We're going to get the end of Deadpool Wolverine, where it's like, oh, remember all the times, you know, and we'll show all bits and pieces of the Marvel movies. Like, we did it. We're heroes. The end. Or is it? You know?
And I think that they're going to take their sweet time casting everything again.
Yeah.
And so we won't see any teases of actors to come. We might get hints of what stories are going to come, you know, but I think they're going to wait. They're going to wait and see what happens. They're going to wait and see what the reception is to them closing the book on the old age.
Yeah.
And then they're going to take the next however many years it takes for there to be another Avengers movie to cast.
Also very closely going to watch what happens with DC. They've got DC in a position where they are relaunching all their movies right now, where they can sit back and go, interesting, and collect data, basically.
The other thing I hope that we have is, while we're getting this moratorium on Avengers and the traditional MCU characters, is if they were smart, and they have not always proven to be this way, but then they could populate that time frame with some more Fantastic Four movies, more Spider-Man movies, if Spider-Man is still a thing. I don't know how this Tom Holland aspect of it's going to work. And then also that's where you slot in X-Men. X-Men and Fantastic Four takes up that gap between.
It's funny that you mentioned Tom Holland, JD, because they have confirmed that they are still planning another trilogy of Tom Holland movies. And that sort of flies in the face of a total overhaul.
Doesn't have to.
They're gonna have to. They're gonna overhaul everything. They're gonna have to. Like you can't have hobbling Avengers. Like it's just it's not gonna happen.
No. I know, but like I mean that. What I mean to say is that will some of the youngest, the most newly introduced young characters get to stick around?
Because I mean,
like Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man.
Yes, because he made some money.
He's the only successful one.
Yeah.
So
right. Well, him and also the tangential TV characters. Like
they're not successful.
They are not successful. Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
Literally nobody. No, I wish they were. I picked up the complete collection. This She-Hulk, the Charles Soule, Javier Peludo. I love
wonderful.
It's amazing. And I read the first two issues last night. And it's like, this book is so good, and the show was so not good. It missed every mark, and it didn't have it.
I will not accept this. She-Hulk slander. The show was good.
I will accept this, and we know
I wasn't even talking about She-Hulk.
Real quick.
Daredevil.
What I think Ryan,
right. The Netflix people that are getting a new lease.
Oh my god, Daredevil's going to be 50 soon. These movies take 2.5 years to make. No one can get a script together. We're going to have Reed Richards is going to be 70.
Yeah.
Like they picked Reed is too old. They picked a really old guy who is only in his late 40s, but he's too old for this. Like, we're going to get into this. This process takes so long. Like, it's going to be 5 or 6 years between Batman movies. Robert Pattinson's almost too old. Like, we're just getting to this point of the machine.
100% agree. This is why I'm more excited about DC animated and what Marvel animated could be, because you could tell these stories faster and more realistically. And like you were saying with She-Hulk, look, I love that She-Hulk run. And when I watch a She-Hulk show, I was like, some of these episodes are really funny. I've gone back and watched them, and they are very one trick, and it's not a great show, and it wasn't well thought out, and it tried to do what was going on in those books, but could have been better.
Yeah,
you can
animate. Hold on. Damon's trying to talk. Hold on, Damon.
Oh, no, all I was going to say was just the ending is really what killed it for me for that series.
Yeah.
Everything else that you were saying, for the most part, I enjoyed it. to be honest with you. Like, I don't think it was horrendous, as some people are saying.
I
but-
agree.
No.
I think the ending was. I think
not
the
great.
ending dropped the ball, but I liked all of the rest of the episodes. I really enjoyed.
Brian, you've convinced me. I've seen the light. I'm canceling my Disney Plus subscription,
Good
and
for you.
I'm giving up on Marvel.
Good for you.
Welcome to DC Universe Unlimited, JD. Hope you survived the experience.
JD, you are an aging comic fan. You're supposed to be miserable.
Well, mission accomplished.
It's true.
We're just
One
true.
of us.
That's true.
One of us.
Yeah, the
I mean,
Lord.
I've been waiting for like the Batman was pretty close, but like a good, like an actual good Batman movie, not like a well-made film, which is like what like the Christian
Most of
Bale
them
ones are like.
Right.
They're like, well, they're good, they're decent films, but in none of the every movie he's like, oh, if only I
They're
didn't
not
have to be
good Batman
Batman
movies.
today. It's like
The
what
Dark
are you
Knight,
talking about?
the Christopher Nolan's trilogy is not good Batman. No.
No, it's great
just not
movies.
good Batman.
Christopher
Great
Nolan
movies,
movies
bad
are
Batman.
heat and Batman drag.
I wish they were as good.
Sure.
No, please. They're just they're nice to look at, but I mean, you know, it's old news.
They're Soderbergh crime movies and Batman drag. That's all it is.
Again, I wish.
If the Christopher Nolan Batman movies were as fun as the Ocean's 11 trilogy, I would be thrilled.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
But yeah, no. All right. We're kind of getting lost in the sauce here, but Mark points out very rightly in the chat. Reed is older by design, and I will. So I'm okay with an older Reed, but for the most part, yes, I agree with Brian that like signing these people up for 10 movies is stupid.
You can't.
because they can't do it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, I want you to give me 10 good Fantastic Four stories. Can you give me 10 good ones? Because
Sure.
the 10 good ones
10 good ones that are worthy of being made into
of a 2.5 hour
films.
movie.
I don't know about
10
that, but
Yeah, they don't have it. My goodness.
no.
Robert Downey Jr. They're gonna Mark.
I've learned my lesson, and I don't try to like anything that I can expect you not to shit on, Brian.
Stop now. All right, now Mark. This is not a hot take that you're presenting. Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom is probably the single thing that the MCU has ever done that will take the most convincing.
It's gutless.
Because like I have accepted the Eternals. I have accepted their version of a talking tree.
I did not
and
accept the
talking
Eternals.
raccoon. But look, Eternals is fine.
I do not accept it. It is not
You can
fine.
shut off your brain, and it like at the very least, it does not completely break the concept of the Eternals.
They tried. It was a big swing. It just didn't.
It was a
connect,
big
but
swing.
It was a big
Yeah.
It's a big swing.
But Robert Downey Jr. being recast as Doctor Doom is ludicrous. It's
gutless.
Absolutely gutless.
insane. Yeah, we're right. It's either they either have a genius idea that none of us have figured out, or they are so scared
Yep.
of failing
Counter
that
argument.
they
when you're
have
done.
got to get their most famous star locked back in.
Counter argument.
It's such a wasted opportunity, Joe. I think that's my problem with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doom is like the best big bad that the MCU has.
Who is that? Is that Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, hey Mark.
Oh, no, sorry. And like they have an opportunity to bring in some like it doesn't have to be like necessarily like a young actor, but I think that they're just afraid of like writing Robert Downey Jr. out of the MCU entirely. And
Yes.
like, this is like their way of like,
100%.
well, he's a guaranteed blockbuster. He's going to put butts in the seats.
Yeah.
Dude, like everybody's forgetting that like Iron Man came out in 2000, what,
8.
8?
2008.
Yeah.
And it was an unproven formula. And
That
like,
was nearly
yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah, like they have an opportunity to cast some new actor.
And he was
And this-
old. He was old then.
yes.
So
Anyway, that's my opinion.
no, you're right. You're absolutely right, Mike. And it doesn't even make any sense in the context of the multiverse that they have already established.
Okay, real quick.
which is that
Counter argument. It makes perfect sense. It is absolutely brilliant and the safest thing they can do from a business and money oriented
oh no,
position.
You're right, but that's creatively bankrupt.
And if you think that that's not the motivation behind this, and they came up with something,
but we're not reacting
brilliant.
to it. Like we're not looking at the
I get it.
sheets
But what
here.
I'm saying is,
that's not how we're reacting to it.
We're reacting in a sense where it's like, well, what about the respect to the story and the respect to the okay, guys. This is a money-making machine.
You're absolutely right.
That's what they're here to do.
But I mean, that's not.
That's
we
why
can't.
it's gutless. That's exactly why.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. But that's
Marcus is right and Damon's right. It is, and you're right. It is.
That doesn't make it good
safest-
decisions.
Yeah.
They figured out. They figured out how much money it would take for him to come back because he's all of the. I mean, this is probably the highest paid role in history between his producing and his starring,
the back end, the back end,
like all that. Yeah. It's all going to go to him, and he's like, "Yeah, sure." What are you going to pay me?
Didn't they reveal the number and it was ludicrous? Something like 80 million or 60 million.
But it's not. Yeah. Here's the thing: it's not ludicrous. It's baseball theory. Look at how baseball players get paid anymore.
No, I get it.
When we look and we go, Jesus Christ, they're seriously giving this guy $1 billion to play. How is that possible? You know how it's possible? Because they're going to make the money. They're going to make this
of
money.
course. Having him there puts butts in the seats. Yes.
And but I mean, in their head, it's the easiest
we can't judge it as a business decision. We are fans. We're judging it from an artistic.
I agree. I'm just saying it's the easiest possible math they could do, and it hurts my heart.
But casting Robert Downey Jr. doesn't even make sense in the framework of the multiverse that they've already created
of their own narrative. Yeah.
Like, okay, I get it. You've established the fact that variants of these characters can be different. Like you can have John Krasinski in one universe and Pedro Pascal in another. I obviously, when Professor X shows up, it's not going to be Patrick Stewart. I get it. But to say that somebody that you already recognize as an established character is a completely different being, that doesn't make any sense at all to me.
Why? It's their universe. They can do whatever they want with it.
They do the Chris Evans thing, right? In Deadpool.
Yeah. I mean, we just did it in Deadpool.
I'm not saying that it's a good or bad decision. I'm just saying that I guess the idea is that the rules are kind of fluid at best.
Yeah.
I think when you're folding in another company's properties, you're kind of playing fast and loose. But within within their own existing universe, it doesn't jive with me. But
I mean,
okay, let me argue this, Joe, really fast.
Can I just interject one thing?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Trevor.
So I keep seeing this.
Frank, sorry,
it's Frank, by the way. I keep seeing this thing. I saw it once, and I can't remember where I saw it, but it said, the reason why Dr. Doom looks like Tony Stark they said they will explain it in the movie, and it's one and done. It's not going to happen again. It's not going to be like a regular thing. So I don't know why. I've seen a couple of theories. I've seen the theory.
It's for money.
Of course it's for money.
Yeah.
But I've seen, a story theory. And one of there was like a what if Dr. Doom had switched. Like what if Dr. Doom
we
was
talked
Tony
about
Stark?
that. The mind switching thing.
Yeah, we did a whole CLB where we investigated.
Like a superior Spider-Man type situation.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yeah.
I'm not, again, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm just going by gut feeling. If this soft reboot thing comes to pass, there's like a weird poetic thing to it, I suppose, in some weird way, that if they do the soft reboot and it ends with Doom basically bringing this about, and it's like Robert Downey Jr.'s official last role, and then, they go ahead and recast Doom because they have to. I can see that. No, I don't know exactly where they turn at that stage, but I could see it happen.
Speaking to Brian's joke in the chat about Dr. Doom should be played by Terrence Howard. This to me is if they cast Terrence Howard as like Black Goliath or Blue Marvel or any other character other than the roadie that we've already seen him as. But I guess Lawrence Fishburne was Bill Foster in Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be a face-off situation.
face off. Yeah.
I hope it is.
I hope it's literally a face off situation.
Yeah.
I hope he surgically altered his face
That's exactly
to
what I
look
mean.
like Robert Downey Jr.
Only it's
It's
Robert
going
Downey
out.
Jr.
I mean,
Robert
takes
Downey
his
Jr. 's
face
gonna play
off
Nick Cage.
and
Is that what we're gonna
swaps
see?
his
All right.
face with
Yeah,
Robert Downey
okay,
Jr.
I'm in.
Okay,
Let's
I'm
do
down.
it. Yeah.
100%.
You know what, guys? I think we're talking ourselves into it here.
I would watch the hell out of this.
We'll watch it under one circumstance. That we have one thing.
Yeah. It's Robert Downey Jr. Victor Von Doom with Robert Downey Jr.'s face, but when he opens his mouth and talks, it is
Nick Cage.
It's Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Damn right.
It's
And vice versa.
Prester Troy or whatever his name was.
Pastor Troy.
Pastor Troy, yeah. Oh man.
I'd kill for
All
that.
right. Hey, that's enough MCU stuff.
That
We
would
had a
be-
lot of stuff we wanted to talk about, and it's already 11:30.
That would at least
Did we
be
talk about
ballsy.
Spider-Man, the Spider-Man animated show yet?
We can talk about that. Yeah, let's
Okay,
do it.
cool.
I'm
All right, cool.
episode
Wanna do it?
actually.
What was that?
Good show. It's a good show.
I got to say, I was protesting it, but then I went back to watch it. I think the storyline is captivating. I think that the idea, the kid doesn't sound like Peter Parker. I think should sound, but that's just me. Because I got the Tom Holland and the '67 Spider-Man in my head. But one of the things that I find really cool about the show is the artwork of the show. And when you're looking at it, it's got that flair of 70s Romita, and it's also got that like sort of.
It's very Romita-esque.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
character designs. Yes, I agree.
I love the opening theme song. I think it's great. I love, and also if you pause all of the little freeze frames, the costume designs that are kind of showing up are really cool.
Yeah. I love that. You know what? I love a movie or TV show where they've commissioned a theme song about the show, where it's not just like an existing rap song; it's like a song about Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I love it.
It is pretty.
Who did the theme? Who is it?
Like the Adams Groove by MC Hammer. You know, like give it to me.
All right, take it easy.
What do we think? What do we think of the updated origin or the revised origin?
Let's
The
can we
mystical spider.
spoil it. Let's talk about it.
I haven't seen the most recent couple weeks, so I don't know if they've explained it
It's the first
yet.
episode.
Yeah,
No, I know, but I don't know if they've I don't know if they've elaborated on it. Is my point.
Oh no, I've only seen the first episode, but I like the revised origin. Yeah.
Spoilers for the first episode, which was several weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strange shows up in front of Midtown High, fighting this very venom-coated monster. It doesn't look like venom, but it looks like it's covered in a venom.
Yeah, it's definitely
it looks like an alien or a demon covered in a symbiote. Yeah, right. And he's fighting the thing, and he shows up, and he realizes where he is. He looks around and he sees Peter Parker and he sees Midtown, and he's like, "Oh shit, we're not supposed to be here. We can't be here." And then he nopes out of there as quickly as possible with that beastie. But before he goes, a spider drops out of the portal, like a spider had hitched a ride through the dimensional gateway.
Oh.
And that's how the spider gets juiced and gives Peter Spider-Man powers.
Oh.
Now, my theory is that I think that that's perfectly fine because, genetic engineering, that was a very early 2000s modernization.
I would argue it's still kind of a thing.
Well, I understand, but it was
pretty
all the
huge.
rage back in the early 2000s. I think that just in the same way that must have been atomic radiation was all the rage in the 60s. But the idea of doing the idea of doing open air radiation demonstrations is laughable, of course. And so you have to update. But I think my theory is that Doctor Strange showing up with that alien is what causes this timeline to diverge. That's the moment. The timeline diverges from the MCU.
Yep.
Okay.
Because he realizes, oh shit, this is Peter's high school and he's not Spider-Man yet. We have to go now.
So It is the regular Doc Strange bopping through this world and putting.
I think it's the Doctor. I think it's our Doctor Strange from the MCU.
616, whatever. Yeah, MCU 616.
Yeah,
19999.
And that he inadvertently created a branched timeline. And that's why
I can see it.
I like that.
Because up to this point, it is interesting because it looked like Peter nobody recognized who he was. Like, they didn't know who this Doctor Strange was. Like, they don't have a Doctor Strange in their world.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know. I think they do have the Avengers, though.
They have Captain America for sure. That they do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't recognize Doctor Strange. They didn't know who he was. No.
Wild.
And
this is a spoiler for a later episode, but they fully go into what the Avengers are doing.
Okay, there you go.
Cool.
There is an Avengers. There's also I'm going to spoil one thing.
It's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah, it's not really a spoiler.
I don't really care.
Basically, the airport fight. They have it like they're talking about
from
the
Civil War,
fight, right? From Civil War, and they're talking. The whole thing starts. The Sokovia Accords is like, and that's the sort of timeline they're giving you. And you see the airport fight like that happened in the past already, and Spider-Man wasn't part of it. So
there you go.
Oh, so yes, this is a divergent timeline then. Yeah.
Well, like Dave already come out. Go ahead.
They mentioned everything from like Hulk's attack in Age of Ultron, the bombing from the beginning of Civil War,
so
and the
totally
death
linked.
Of
totally
the King of Wakanda.
Wow.
So ironically, this is a better What If than What If was.
So like the showrunner has already said like it was originally intended for this book for this comic to be set in the MCU, to be set in the past of the Tom Holland Spider-Man. But then they very quickly realized, oh shit, if we do that, we can't use Dr. Octopus, the Green Goblin. We can't use anybody.
Oh.
Right.
They can't use anybody because that locks it out of Tom Holland meeting them for the first time.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
So all of the established villains were off limits. And probably a lot of the side characters as well. And so they were like, oh, you know what? We're just going to have to make it an alternate timeline.
Okay. I feel way better about this now. I haven't watched any of it, and now I'm actually kind of excited to watch it.
It's really good.
Because I can shut off that
It's a lot of fun.
that Superman cartoon that I know it's good, the one on Adult Swim
on Max,
and I tried and it's just like, nah, it's just I can't. It's too friggin' different for no reason, and
my Adventures with Superman, which is a delight, a joy.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's
I couldn't let it wash over me. I'm not saying it's a bad show. I just couldn't let it wash over me. I'm sorry.
The thing about the Spider-Man cartoon is that it feels like it could be the Tom Holland Spider-Man.
It does.
It feels enough like the MCU that you're going to be fine. Just remember that the history is not going to be the same.
So one of the things that I mentioned this in the Discord before, like how the animation gets a little bit weird in spots. And I wonder if it's sort of a nod to the 60s, like Marvel superhero comics.
I think that's giving them a whole lot of credit. Right?
You think so?
You're no prizes in the mail, sir.
I think, Frank, I think that's very sweet.
The weird little recycle animations.
Yeah, but after watching the thing,
it's just a comic panel where like a mouth, you see a mouth moving like a Conan O'Brien sketch.
Right.
But
when you look at Into the Spider-Verse and, those Spider-Man cartoons, they are absolutely taking from the comic pages. Like they're trying to even give you the Ben-Day dots, and they're giving you like the coloration.
Oh, right.
So it's like I was thinking that's where my line of thought was going. It's like, well, they did it in the movie, so hey, and somebody probably said, hey, let's try this here. But I mean, yes, it's probably the reason is the computer animation is kind of janky, but.
I think
there's an attempt at homaging cell shading a little bit there.
Well, I
had the same thought.
I believe it's
okay.
I believe it's computer. It's not hand drawn 2D animation, but it's computer generated art that's supposed to be reminiscent of classic cell shade. Like it is cell shaded.
Yeah.
It should be, for
No,
sure.
way better than What If is cell shaded. Like holy shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not.
so it's meant to mimic 2D animation, but it's certainly created with a computer.
It's not as good, but I think it's a similar technique of Blue-Eyed Samurai, where they have a 3D model.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make
Yes.
it look like a 2D image.
Absolutely. Blue-Eyed Samurai was excellent, by the way, if you guys didn't watch it. God, that show was
Yes,
So
it is.
amazing.
man.
Yeah, that's
That was
one of my
amazing.
favorite
Loved it.
animations.
Oof.
Like to contrast it to X-Men 97. X-Men 97 I'm sure has many computers involved, but it still looks like a traditional 2D animated cartoon.
Oh, well, yeah. They went out of their way.
This is clearly much more slick than that in terms of like how it's produced.
I'll have to check it out. I have not watched
It's
it
good.
yet.
It's really good.
I am excited for it. I've been trying to catch up on all kinds of other stuff. I just finished like the Terminator anime thing recently, which was great. God, it was good.
Oh,
It was so delightful.
I watched the first episode. It was good. I need to finish it.
It is so much better than any of the output they have put out in since the first movie. Okay, it's so good.
Yeah, it's very bad.
That's
Like
kinda where
most of the
I'm-
Terminator entries are very bad.
That's kind of where I'm at with look, Invincible is back. That show is excellent. It sounds like this
I never
Spider-Man.
even watched season. I need to watch season 2.
It sounds like this Spider-Man show is excellent. We just loved the Creature Commandos and stuff like that. As excited as I get for live action movies and stuff, I would rather at this point just keep shoveling good cartoon stories my way with good voice actors, please.
I am 100% behind
I'm gonna go
that.
out in left field here and say all of this new animation stuff, this adult animation with Invincible and stuff like that, gives me hope for a good Dresden Files adaptation, because
Absolutely,
the author of
things
Dresden
like that
Files
too.
always said the best way to do Dresden Files would be animated.
Yes, we don't need to get so
Really?
hung up. We do not need to get
said
so hung up
That's how he wants it.
on live action anymore.
Yeah,
We
that's how
don't.
he would want it done.
It would be.
That's interesting.
It would lend itself perfectly to it. I mean, it was perfect for the comics too.
Well, I mean, the Dresden Files isn't an especially flashy.
Absolutely is. Are
Well,
you kidding
but
me?
I mean, I'm going off of the show, the sci-fi show.
Okay,
but
well, that's.
Oh no! In the comics,
not-
in the comics, and in the books, I mean, Harry does things like freeze Lake Michigan
Yeah, he's a magician.
Sure.
It's all about magic and monsters.
by using fire. By using fire
No, I
magic
get it.
to move heat.
I'm not. Maybe I'm not expressing myself. I know that there's.
No.
I know that there's
sure.
fantastical stuff, but it's not like a nonstop. Not like a comic book, which is a nonstop visual feast that makes perfect leap to the screen.
Regardless,
Because I mean, there's
I-
entire
I-
section, there's
yeah,
entire
no,
books that
I
take
hear
place
ya. I
in
hear
fairy
ya.
worlds, and the Chichen Itza fight, and
Sure,
I mean,
sure, yeah, no, that's.
I mean,
And
that's
hell, I'm all
why I think
for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Yeah.
against it by any means. I'm just.
no. My only point being is I think, like Brian had said, these movies take so long to make. They take so long to make, and we can put out. I'm not saying it's like animation doesn't take time too. Of course it does, but we can get people in rooms together a lot faster. They can work remotely to do this, and we can put out an excellent animated product. And I almost would prefer that. You know what? Kang didn't work out. That sucks. Give me an animated version of it, and get a different actor, and let's do Kang the right way. Let's go, and do it with. I don't want to see it with the MCU Avengers. I want to see it with the Marvel Comics Avengers, please. Right? We're doing the live action stuff, and I'm excited for Daredevil, but I would love to see a Daredevil in the Marvel universe with all the ridiculous characters, animated, telling just some side Daredevil story from back in the day. It doesn't even have to be a major one, We can do that now. Let's do it and not worry so much about how insular everything has to be when we're so stuck in the MCU that we've got to cast this guy to play.
We'll do the
role,
storyline where Karen Page becomes a nighttime DJ.
Let's do it.
I love that one.
Let's do
Like
it.
Hustle era.
Yes.
Carrie Nord, Angel of the Night. Yeah, man.
Right.
I just want to see an animated Stilt Man.
Sure. Yes. 100%.
Oh, man.
X-Men 98 proved we can do this stuff. Let's do it. Give it to
Yeah,
me.
no, that's my issue with the what if stuff. It's like it's so small.
Yes.
You know, like they can do anything and they're doing barely anything.
Right.
And I know that they've expanded and I haven't watched them, so I can't say exactly what they're exactly doing, but you know, it just the first season of kind of the same thing you've seen, the same kind of characters, the same like it's like where's Ghost Rider?
Right.
Where's
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
like
right.
do it. You can do anything. You can literally do anything you want. If you want to build out, you need to, you know, kind of backfill this whole universe that of, you know, aging actors that have slowly been killed off or whatever you're doing. Like for your narrative, this is how you do it.
Yes.
You just get them in there. And this is, I wonder if James Gunn saw them not doing that and was like, you know what you need to do? You need to like take the shortcut.
Sure.
Do it the right way.
Sure seems that way.
And start putting good people in the right spots and let them do the work and introduce it that way.
Sure seems that way. Look at
rather,
this. Look
you
at how
know.
many weirdos are showing up in the Superman movie, you know? And there's not going
Right.
to be like a
Well, but more than that, Matt, it's like, and now that movie exists in a world where Kongorilla lives.
right, exactly. Exactly.
Or
It's
Animal,
set.
Vegetable, Mineral Man.
It's done. It's set. Don't
we
worry
will
about it.
never see those characters again.
But like the
But
way that
just
Marvel
knowing that they're there makes me happy.
it's awesome, but like the way the Marvel did this, it's like everything had to be so clinical and scientific and on the table
and it's
at
all
the
tied
time.
to the existing MCU, which is
Right,
bullshit.
and we cannot
Like, don't
we
do that.
cannot go outside of the body that we have here. No, it is not a corpse; it is a body. Okay, and we are
Like
working on
a
it.
measurable percentage of the episodes are devoted to Peggy Carter. Which,
Right.
don't get me wrong,
And
I
that-
love Peggy Carter. But what if it's not about the same characters every time?
No, and like
Right.
that's the problem. You cannot get out of that. And if you are going to introduce something, then it has to lead to something else, and there has to be a story behind it. That's why we got like all this shit with like, you know, the Black Knight and Blade that just never did shit. And it feels like, what the hell happened there? Whereas you could have just had those characters around. They could have just been around.
Sure.
They could have put him in What If.
Right. They could have put them in
Yeah, you
fucking
could have
What
had.
If.
I mean, roll a truck up to Harry Styles' house, have him come down to record
Sure.
for a half an hour to do an episode with Star Fox in it.
Yeah. Why the hell
Yeah, no,
not?
it seemed very easy, but they took the careful
Do
way
you
out,
think
and-
Patton Oswalt would not be
Yeah.
not be willing to come to the recording studio to do Pip the Troll? Come on.
Yeah.
I'm so afraid they're going to take the wrong message from any outcry for more animation and the use of voice actors and just go AI rendering with voice actors.
Ugh.
I mean, look, there will
that
be some
terrifies me.
aspect of
That
AI
terrifies
used
me.
in things, but the good news is it's still so toxic as a brand, and you've still got you just got out of like major negotiations with actors over the shit, so they can't just like.
Well, and also,
Oh, I know.
fully
They'll
out.
find a way though.
voice
They will.
actors
They will.
voice actors are still fighting.
Sure,
So,
sure.
Yeah.
not that his opinion is going to move the needle one way or the other, but it is heartening. But Harrison Ford did an interview recently, and the topic of the most recent Indiana Jones game came out, the one that was on Xbox right now, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Obviously, Harrison Ford did not do his own voice in this video game, so they got Troy Baker, who is very, very well known as a voice actor. I think he's best known. No, that's somebody else. It doesn't matter. He did Indy in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Harrison Ford said that he did a better job at being me than I could have. And you don't need AI.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need AI for this. Just hire the right people. There are people out there that can approximate these aging actors in animation, like the guy that did the Red Skull's voice in Endgame.
Sure.
God, I can't remember his name.
Russ Marquand is his name.
Yeah, Russ
He was
Marquand.
he also was in live action in The Walking Dead. But he's an amazing impressionist.
But that also does a thing to your human brain where you hear a human saying it and you're like, oh, it's a little different, but man, he sure is close. That's not bad. When it's so close through AI, but just off a little bit, now we're in the uncanny valley. And I look
Yeah.
It sounds inhuman. Yeah,
I look at the AI shit they did with Indiana Jones, in that last movie, and it's like, oh, look, he's doing the thing. He's shooting the gun. He's whipping the whip. He's jumping out the window, and I just can't feel anything. Like I can't.
I think you know what? I think he was actually talking about the AI stuff in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
He was.
When he said, "You fuckers should have just gotten somebody better to do it."
Yeah, he did not like it. He didn't like it because they played it off when he was getting ready to do the role. They played it off as like he's the only Indiana Jones, and listen to him, Harrison Ford, saying nobody's gonna play Indiana Jones but me, and we're like, how's a real old guy gonna do all this? I think they were trying to do their best to make everybody get ready for AI cartoon young Indy running around, and it just
well, it's like
did not work.
The movie. This is not comic books or fantasy related, but the movie Amelia Perez that was nominated for 14 Oscars.
Yeah, people are real mad at that movie.
Everybody's thrilled about it. What are you talking about?
Anyway, JD, what were you going to say?
Well, and one of the theories as to why it was so widely nominated is because they're fairly open that a healthy portion of the script was written by AI.
Really?
What in the fuck?
I'd not heard that. I'd heard,
and they're trying to normalize it.
I'd heard other things, but that were problems. But I had not heard the AI.
Yeah, no, racism. Racism, transphobia. Yeah, lots of other.
Yeah. But
that's
a good portion of the
wild
script
to
was
me.
written by AI.
Oh my
But on top of that, The Brutalist also used AI as well, and that got nominated for a bunch of stuff too.
Yeah, I heard about The Brutalist using AI. Yeah,
Kanye's using AI now, and everybody still loves him.
To generate a movie so long, you have to take a pee break in the middle.
Hey now. Kanye's
no,
I
mean like it had an intermission baked into it.
No,
like
I know,
an actual literal intermission.
It's long as hell.
I'll never stop laughing at people who complain about long content.
No,
I'm not mad at long count. Not at all. I'm not. But but when you have a movie that's this epic, 3.5 hour, whatever, we need to take an intermission or people are going to, wet themselves in the theater. And then you're like, a computer wrote it. No thanks.
Well, okay. So not to split hairs. Cause I can almost see the argument with The Brutals. Cause it's like a $10 million movie or something. And it's about an architect. So they used, I guess, they used AI to generate some of the skyscrapers, and then they also used it to improve some of the quality of the Hungarian accent. And I don't know, man. I just kind of feel like you should not be able to win a Best Actor award if the performance of your vocals was improved by a computer. That just doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
it doesn't. That said, I'm not. If they were to say.
I mean, they took away Grammys from people for auto-tune.
We used the AI to improve the writing of the Hungarian dialect, but then Adrian Brody actually performed it.
No,
that's one thing.
No,
well, he did do it, but
if they fixed it in post, that's a different matter.
Yeah, because apparently Hungarian's a very hard accent to get right, so they improved it by something called re-speechify or something. But I don't know, man. The whole thing just seems to what you were saying earlier is that they're trying to backdoor us into AI.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's the thing is there's so much obfuscation around it too.
Right.
Whereas if they were just upfront and honest about it, and then if we had proper attribution to if they use AI to write a script, it's like AI art. I'm okay with it if you can point at what art did you grind up to spit out this version and give them credit
and pay them.
Yeah.
And that'll never happen.
Right.
Well, another reason.
I mean, just look at the conversation about those Fantastic Four posters from this week.
Yes, with the people what? Is this AI? Look at that jacket.
But I think at a glance, it's oh yeah, these are very nice posters. They look old timey. But then if you look at them with any sort of scrutiny, you can see this guy's got 3 fingers. This woman's glasses are clipping into the side of her face.
Yeah.
And it's just and I think it's a mix of actual photography and AI in some of the cases of those posters. But for Marvel to come out and go, nope, we didn't use AI. No, sir. No way. And then the very next moment, someone was like, here you go. I've circled 10 examples in this one poster.
Right.
No, and I feel like Marvel's saying we didn't use AI. No, we didn't. We paid someone to use AI.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, technically true, which is the best kind of true.
Or the someone.
So I also feel like that's happening a lot. Like I think it's also like I mean, obviously the whole thing exists just as a cost saving measure for corporations.
Sure.
But I think the issue is like I think a lot of times you have artists that are probably using AI to retouch or to give filters, and then are just being like, no, I didn't use AI at all in this.
Sure.
And we just have to kind of take them at their word. There was a Kickstarter anthology called Pots and Panels that was on a little while ago. And like,
yes,
I don't know, man, but that fucking cover just looks like AI.
Oh, we were looking at that somebody posted it. Yeah. We're all looking at it.
And it's like, I don't, and then the person who did the anthology or whatever got like really upset. And it's like, no, like I know the artist, he doesn't use AI. And it's like, I don't know, like, I mean, I want to believe that these people are acting, you know, honestly, but at the same time, like, I don't know, man, your shit just looks like AI. Like, did you not think about this before you
I think the more violently somebody gets defensive about it, the more obvious it is that they did it. You know?
Yeah, with the hairy eyeball.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wanted to sue people.
You remember the Secret Invasion?
The Secret Invasion credits.
We all watched every episode.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
No, I didn't watch every episode.
That one they said that they started with AI and enhanced it later or fixed it later.
Yeah,
whatever.
But it seems like it's just flat out AI.
So Frank raised a good point, and you know, Mark can speak to this a bit as well. Like as artists in the group, is that you can say like, oh no, this poster was made in Photoshop using photography and then Photoshop enhancements. But when there is a button on your current version of Photoshop that says something like generative fill, that means that the Photoshop is just going to plug it in for you.
Right.
That's
AI.
That's AI.
That's AI.
Like, and it's like it's not the same as like typing a prompt into Chat GPT or whatever.
No, that's an art.
Journey.
That is an art. We can all agree to that. Prompting.
Sure, right. Yeah, right. Yeah. But I mean, if you're making a picture in Photoshop and you're letting the generative fill do a bunch of the work, you've used AI to create that poster.
Yes, absolutely. At some level, and people just need to admit it. And
I saw a thing online that you had like. There's suspicion. I've heard it go back and forth whether it's true or not, but there's suspicion that if you don't turn off a particular setting in Microsoft 365, that anything you write in Microsoft Word is going to get ingested into AI.
It's going to get scraped.
Prompting.
Yeah. It's happening right now. Yeah. They introduced DeepSeek R1 into their stack last week. We're dealing with it at my work right now. It's fantastic.
I mean, like
trying to fight it.
Look at Facebook. Every freaking thing on Facebook is like AI this, AI that. Like when you click the search button, it says, or the search bar, it says, ask Meta AI. And it's like, no, I just want to look at my friend's profile, please. You know?
Right.
I'm not asking Meta AI to solve life's mysteries for me. I just need to look at something. And
you can't even just Google anything anymore.
Yeah, it's baked in. And like,
and
I don't know how we fight it at this point.
I don't know that we do. I think there's just judicious use of it. Like Matt, you use it at work, right?
No. What I was saying was like we have seen the results of this when people send out like a newsletter, and now what would normally be X amount of hits comes to a website. Now we see that times 50, times 1,000, times because that is AI. AI goes, give me everything now, give me all of it as fast as you can.
I guess I'm the evil bastard that has to use AI at work because my job has integrated AI language models into all of our platforms, and so I'm actually having to learn how to use it. But you know, I've just kind of drawn a line in the sand that I just don't use it for anything creative. You know, for me, AI is best used as a research tool. You know, I use it to you know find these 7 people's social handles so I can search them search them for a client or
when you're searching when you're searching for something on Google, and there might not be a very strong hit readily available, and Google AI is like, this
Google
is
AI is horrible though.
But I mean, but that, as a concept, I'm like, I'm fine with AI as a tool for research and things like that.
It's
Or
so
to make lives easier for certain types of jobs. But as a creative tool, no, absolutely.
We shouldn't be giving away the fun parts. That's the thing, is we shouldn't be finding shortcuts for the fun parts. We should be using the robots to do the drudgery.
Yes.
And then that gives us more time to do the fun parts.
I can't remember the comedian that was like, I always thought AI was gonna. Yeah, they said like I always thought AI would give me more time to follow my passion and investigate like strange and new information. Instead, it's following my passion and drawing like rainbows and shit for me while I'm using it to correlate.
Yeah, right.
Well, I think the big thing of this is just that this all comes from tech bros, and like the whole thing about tech bros is just how do we automate our lives? How do we remove the process of actually doing things and just snap our fingers? And of course, like those kind of people like don't see the value in creative art because they've been brainwashed only to see art as a form of commerce.
I'll take it a step further than that, Ian. I don't think they even think about it that level. I think it's just
$200 to make a sketch when I could just plug a couple of prompts in and it'll do it for me.
Well, and even better, how do I? The end is profit. It's always see the underpants gnomes were always after profit, and AI now is become the new underpants.
There is no
gnomes.
step 2.
So
there's
like
step 1, idea.
Step 1,
3, profit.
invent AI. Step 3, profit. And now everyone's like, how do we make money on this? And they're going, right now we can't. It's prohibitively expensive. And then a Chinese company comes in and goes, we can do it way cheaper. And now the emperor is wearing no clothes.
Well, and you also see versions of it outside of AI. Like, there's recently been a huge proliferation of NSFW titty books on Kickstarter.
Right.
And it's like, well, those proliferate because they make money. And it's like, it has nothing to do with the creator, like, wanting to be creative or having a story to tell. It's like, I'm a comic book writer and I make the NSFW titty books and they make me a ton of money.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just, it's a perversion of what we're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. And I'm not going to lie, as a writer who wanted to get into comics and never did because I've never had the money to pay an artist. The idea of
tempting,
AI was tempting, but at the end of the day, I still have enough ethics to go, I'm just going to keep writing prose.
The cost is too high.
I can the personal cost,
the ethical cost,
in my opinion. The ethical cost. I don't want to be that guy.
What if we're only using it to make pictures of us riding giant pugs? Is that cool? I mean, like,
no, you're part of the problem.
God damn it!
No, because Battle Pug exists, and I would rather just
but I can't afford to have you draw
Mike
me
Norton
on
to draw you a picture of yourself.
I love Mike Norton. I can't afford that.
Just get Mike Norton to do it.
I know we're over time, and I don't want to keep anybody too. But I just not to get into the weeds in it. But that's also like having to hire an artist or having to find an artist. That's also part of the beauty of creating comics too. Because the book that I'm working on right now. The tone and feel of it was a certain way in my head until I met up with the artist, and we've been clicking so well that it's like, oh no, like his input in this has changed the output of what the final project is, and that makes it better.
And you can speak to that. You can speak to that from personal experience. And how many times do you read the essay in the back of a new image #1, and they're like, my life changed forever the day I met Sean Phillips or whatever,
Neil Gaiman,
and it's just like
my life changed forever the day I met Neil Gaiman.
In a different way.
Oh my god! Show me on the doll.
But that's the collaborative process and finding the right partner. Yes, the seasons. Yes, exactly right. Where Rick Remender had this idea, and Paul as a Seda brought it to life, and it is so much greater than the sum of its parts. And when you've got people out there with these ideas, well, they have an idea sort of, but their main idea is to make money. And so they've taken a creative shortcut, and it's creatively bankrupt, and it's awful.
Sure.
But I want to speak to something that Brian said a few minutes ago. Just like NFTs, when they were introduced, the use of AI still comes at a massive cost to the environment in terms of resources. And so until they can get that shit under control, AI is a bad idea.
Well, sure,
but it also does too much damage.
It's also responsible for more than 30% of the stock market right now. So bad news environment. And I don't know if you know this, we got a pretty friendly White House to the tech bros right now. So I wouldn't hold your breath on saving the whales.
It's okay, Matt. The White House is not in charge of the government.
We gotta boil that ocean so we can, generate beats for our new hip hop record.
I don't repeat after me. Resist.
Yeah. Like exactly. I literally cannot wrap my head around the idea when I hear things like Elon Musk sent his employees into the Department of Education.
Okay. Okay.
No.
I got to get out of here and go pick up my wife. You guys want to talk about this? That's fine. But this is going to get cut from the end of the show because we all agreed we're not going to get into politics. And that was my fault. I started it. But I love you guys.
Bye, Matt.
And it's good to talk to everybody. Okay. We'll talk soon.
We love you.
Bye.